Hey, it's Chris Cashman. I'm playing the part of the dinghy today, trading in the PDFs that work for the PFDs here on the water. We're floating through the Ballard locks. Let's go.
The Seattle Storm shares back-to-school memories.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite school memory.
The bakery bringing a taste of Europe to North Bend.
It's a very memorable little gem of the town.
And the high-end Seattle roaster targeting coffee connoisseurs.
Ahoy and welcome to Evening Magazine. Welcome aboard the Splendido. We're in the ship canal. We're headed to the Ballard locks. Have you ever done this? It's been a minute since my 4th grade field trip. I thought it was a magical water elevator. Turns out there's some engineering involved. And we have our friends here from Seattle Seafaring to guide us through. What should we know as we're headed to the locks?
Yeah, well, going through the locks is a pretty unique experience, right? I mean, you're going from salt water, which is tidal, into a chamber which lifts you up to fresh water. And it's a pretty unique place here in Seattle. It's fun. You feel like you're in a fishbowl a little bit. The tourists come down and say hello, and wow, that is a really cool thing watching these boats go back and forth. The locks is a little different for people, and so we try to take that anxiety out one step at a time.
I got it. You're good.
5, 4. We fit, they fit, we all fit. All right.
Trevor's company, Seattle Seafaring, can help anyone navigate our local waters, locks and all.
Seattle Seafaring, we're basically the low-anxiety boating company. We try to make it easy and fun. That's why people buy boats in the first place.
Okay, we're armed with information. Ready or not, we're going to be taking you through the Ballard locks coming up. And hey, this weekend, your Seattle Storm will be teaming up with Primera Blue Cross for a back-to-school game on August 30th when they take on the Los Angeles Sparks. They will be saluting local teachers. And the first 5,000 fans will get this cool Seattle Storm lunchbox. And speaking of lunchbox, some of the Storm players and the coach gave us their best back-to-school advice.
I feel like my favorite school memories were definitely the school concerts that we would do. So every 2 years we would do a whole big production at my primary school. And I think my favorite one was grade 1 or 2. And we did like Walk Like an Egyptian. Walk like an Egyptian. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite school memory.
Oh, a recess kid, absolutely. Never missed recess. The swings were always my favorite, especially in Maine. It would snow, so we would all like jump off the swings into the snow and do some tricks in the air.
I loved recess. I never made it to the NFL, but I would say if you looked at my recess stats, I probably was an NFL player.
I was a recess kid, but I was like a chill recess kid.
I come from like a household of educators. Both my parents are teachers. My mother is a retired special education teacher. My father is actually in year 47 of being a physical education teacher. So I grew up in a household where like learning and teaching was, very, very important. And I think that's also part of the reason why I became a coach.
My high school geometry teacher, Neely Nelson, had a really big impact on me. She was just influential on a lot of students, could connect to anybody. So she's probably one of the most impactful teachers I've ever had.
I think like sometimes going back to school can be a bit scary and intimidating, especially if you're going into a new grade or a new school. And so I think just give yourself grace with everything and don't be afraid to just be yourself.
Embrace it, embrace the friendships you're gonna have, and understand that it's okay to be different at times. You go to school not to be the cool kid in the school, but to learn, and that's the biggest thing.
Back to school advice, just be you, have fun, and be a nice person. There's nothing better than being kind. So if you're anything, be kind.
Be kind. That is some Hall of Fame advice there. The Storm's back-to-school game is August 30th, 2 p.m. The first 5,000 fans get one of those cool lunch boxes. All right, hey, what are you reading this summer? Have you seen any good movies? What's on the radio? It's time for Saint and the Top 5.
With faced with a threat that can be anyone.
You sure you want to do this, Scorpion?
Spider-Man is still swinging at the top of the box office, raking in $39 million in the U.S. and becoming the 6th highest grossing movie ever made. Horror sequel Insidious Out of the Further opened in second, followed by The Odyssey, Paw Patrol the Dino Movie, and The End of Oak Street.
What do you put in here that makes it taste so good?
17 years after writing the bestseller The Help, Catherine Stockett is #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list with The Calamity Club. Set during the Great Depression, it follows women going to unusual extremes to improve their circumstances. Yesteryear holds on at #2, while The Butcher Legacy debuts at #3. And Patchett's Whistler is 4th, and Karen Slaughter's The Secrets We Hide enters at #5. And finally, there's a new #1 album on the charts. This is the 9th time K-pop sensations The Stray Kids have achieved that feat, with This and That. Ariana Grande has the #2 album, followed by Olivia Rodrigo, Ella Langley, and Morgan Wallen.
Thank you, Saint. And believe it or not, the #1 song in the land is still Choosin' Texas by Ella Langley, 18 weeks in a row. Not too shabby for a song that she wrote in 45 minutes. How cool is this? Hey, the Ship Canal, the Ballard Locks where we are today, this has been a central part of Seattle's identity for a long time. It's even inspired a couple of authors.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Ott, and we are at the Hiram M. Chittenden Locks in Ballard.
We're here because we just had a new book come out that was basically a reprint or an up-to-date of a previous book that we had done when the canal and the ship and the locks turned 100. We did a book for that, and this is an abridged and sort of tighter version of it. So part of it is that it's the history, but we also include a couple walking tours in it.
A wonderful case of serendipity that David B. Williams and I are both really interested in environmental history of Seattle. And years ago, I think it was about 20 years ago, we met to compare maps. And I love it that he's a person that fully appreciates a good map as much as I do. It's so important to know the history of the locks because it is an integral part of our city's, both our identity and our transportation infrastructure and our culture, just how the city works.
The locks really changed the city. It brought the outside world, the saltwater world, into Seattle. We had always been part of it, but it now came in to take advantage of the freshwater. So it united this whole ecosystem.
One of the big differences with this lock versus other ones in the United States is that this one, the majority of traffic is, by numbers, is recreational vessels. And most locks are for transporting grain and barges. It's something we should value and tend to and understand because it requires ongoing operation. It doesn't just exist, it operates.
To me, it's important to know the place where I live. I like to think it makes me more respectful of this place and the variety of people, the variety of animals, the variety of wildlife.
Seattle's Locks and Ship Canal, a history and a guide available now. Support a local author available at the University of Washington Press website, on Amazon, and your local bookstores. Still to come on Evening Magazine.
A North Bend bakery that's a taste of Europe, and where to find the longest public pier in Washington State. Evening Magazine is sponsored by Premera Blue Cross.
And welcome back to Evening Magazine. We are aboard the Splendido, and timing is everything. You are right on time as we're about to head through the Ballard Locks.
The locks are literally a water elevator coming from the ocean, saltwater, into our freshwater lakes, which are at a higher elevation.
Only Evening Magazine takes you through the Ballard Locks.
So the locks being built over 100 years ago, when different parts of Seattle, land portions were knocked down around town to fill in landfill for downtown, things like that, created Lake Union itself, and so then required an elevator to get from the ocean into the lock, into the freshwater.
It's very interesting, very. We're all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Chris, there's two sides, the big side, the small side, and this is kind of a just get in line.
Literally, yep. When you come up as a recreational boat, you're going to get in line for the small lock. Kind of assume that you're going to use the small lock unless the lock attendants come over the loudspeaker, let us know that traffic builds up too much. Give yourself a bunch of slack. Perfect. The #1 rule for doing this successfully is do whatever the lock attendants tell you to do.
Nailed it. I think we can all agree I nailed it. See, look they're clapping. Clapping is breaking out. Those wonderful people. We made it. How exciting was that? You've earned a treat. And our photojournalist Diane Lewis-Torrey found one in North Bend. Actually, she found a lot.
Ah, yeah. Almond tarts. I think this recipe is in the bakery for many, many years. I don't think so, I know so. I know I love it, yes. I have no problems getting up every day, and I mean, I've been doing this for so many years now, and it's still fun. My name is Rainer Krischkowski. I'm the owner of the North Bend Bakery. I've been a baker since 1981. I like it here because it's so small, you know, so old.
For Rainer, baking is the job that finally feels like the right fit.
Before I did baking, I was a car mechanic. I hated it. I hated it. I know one thing, I hated car mechanic. Baking, I don't know, it just got to me because it's always moving. It's fast, it's moving, and it's fun, yes.
Everything is made from scratch.
6 of each.
It's a tradition that Rainer takes pride in.
It's not bought pie filling, it's homemade. I'm serious. Blackberry filling, apple filling, and cherry filling. Everything is just, we make it here.
For the cherry pies, we do a heart.
The cherry pie gets the heart emblem because it's our best seller.
Made with love.
Absolutely.
Hi guys, welcome in.
The bakery has been around almost as long as some of the recipes.
It's an old-fashioned bakery. In not even 2 years, it's going to turn to be 100 years old. I want to show you the challah bread.
Rainer spent years learning the craft of baking in Germany, starting as an apprentice and eventually earning his master's degree.
Sure, it will have some influence, absolutely. Yes, because I was baking many, many years in Germany.
And the people working beside him say Rainer's personality makes work fun.
Rainer is an awesome boss. He's super kind, super generous. I really love working for him.
And that early in the morning, you know, that burst of energy is just, it's such great morale. It's a good way to start the day.
The history is awesome. The place is awesome.
It's lovely. It has a nice little small town vibe.
Cupcakes and cakes and donuts and cookies. It was really exciting.
How you doing today? It's a very homey and cozy bakery. It's in a nice spot. We got the beautiful view of the mountain. It's a very memorable little gem of the town.
North Bend Bakery! Yummy, all those treats, and believe it or not, they do savory as well. They've got sandwiches, they've got a quiche, and Diane's favorite, they do have an exquisite flatbread, so check it out. And speaking of favorites, we sent Jose for a day on the water as well. We're on a boat. He's checking out Washington State's longest public pier.
Little Squalicum Pier in Bellingham is open to the public now.
I'm loving the new pier.
With panoramic views of Bellingham Bay.
It's very relaxing, it's very tranquil. I love feeling the sea breeze coming in my face.
Community members and visitors can walk, bike, and fish on the pier.
It's pretty cool. It's our first time out here. We saw some guys fishing it, so we decided why not try ourselves, and here we are.
The pier expands 1,248 feet into the bay,
making it the longest pier in Washington and Oregon states.
The structure has new pedestrian guardrails, deck grading, and wind and solar power lighting.
The pier is fantastic. Thank you, Bellingham. Thank you, Port.
The city asks the public to suggest names for the pier. More than 900 shared their ideas for a name. Little Squalicum Pier was chosen, and it's named after the park and creek that runs through the area. The Olympic Portland Cement Company built the pier in 1912. rail cars traveled on it, delivering processed cement products to barges offshore. Operation stopped in 1987. But now the pier makes the waterfront a beautiful place to soak up the sun, wind, and the blue skies.
This is an awesome addition to our community, and I look forward to enjoying it all summer and all winter and all spring.
Thank you, Jose. Little Squalicum Pier is open every day of the week for the public, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Still to come on Evening Magazine.
The best coffee beans in Seattle are coming from this place. Why coffee connoisseurs love Kuma. Evening Magazine is made possible with support from Kitsap Credit Union. Since 1934, Kitsap Credit Union has believed that together it's possible. Together, we shine a light on the people and places that help our communities thrive.
And welcome back to Evening Magazine. We are aboard the Splendido, cruising through the Ballard locks as we speak. They just opened up the floodgates. We are cruising today. And hey, a cheap cup of coffee. How hard is that to find these days? I just like black coffee, cowboy coffee, but of course then our beloved Starbucks came along, and now a third wave, a high-end coffee just for the connoisseurs. Here's St. Brian.
You may have met someone fussy about the way their coffee tastes, but we doubt you've met anyone who cares about the brewing process quite like Peter Mark Ingalls. The water he's pouring from 2 kettles at the same time is exactly 208 degrees.
The idea is to get a lot of water interacting with the grounds quickly.
Peter Mark's attention to detail is one of the reasons his company, Kuma Coffee, based in an Interbay industrial facility, roasts enough coffee to ship 100,000 pounds every year.
It's a surprise that we roast as much as we do, because we don't pay for advertising or anything. It's always just been word of mouth across the whole country, people finding us.
People willing to pay about $20 for a bag of high-end coffee, grown by farmers Peter Mark has met in often obscure, mountainous regions in countries like Guatemala and Kenya.
It might involve getting on very small planes, going to crazy airports at the top of mountains, and then driving hours into the mountains to get to these farms.
There, Peter Mark would go through this extensive ritual, cupping, to first assess the aroma before breaking the crust, allowing the coffee to cool, and finally tasting.
Are you finding notes when you do that?
Yeah, very much. Yeah. Say there's a fruit characteristic in the coffee, so you say, okay, this tastes fruity. So the next step would be well, what kind of fruit?
Peter Mark has developed his palate over 15 years. My sense of taste can barely distinguish between salt and sugar.
Fruit punch, oranges, dark chocolate, honeycomb.
Perfect. Excellent.
Yeah, I read it off this.
As for customers buying Kuma coffee, it's not just about the taste. It comes down to ethics.
These farmers work very hard and work very carefully to grow a specific crop, make sure they harvest it at the right time.
Kuma is changing its farmers' lives.
We pay often double to triple fair trade. And again, that's always quality-based. They're just growing something very excellent.
Better tasting coffee sourced from individual farms. Kuma has found the key to success, and Peter Mark Ingalls doesn't want to change a thing.
I love the work here. I love the day-to-day. I love the roasting and filling bags. That's how I like to spend my time.
Thank you, Saint. You want to try Kuma Coffee? You can buy it directly from the roaster or online.
When Evening Magazine returns, if you know, you know. The Seattle spot where salmon sightings are guaranteed this time of the year. Now in our 40th season, Evening Magazine shares local stories that make our community shine. Evening Magazine is sponsored by Pemco Insurance. Pemco empowers the Northwest to prevent the preventable. Learn how at pemco.com.
And welcome back to a sparkling edition of Evening Magazine. We are on the Ship Canal here, taking you through the Ballard locks aboard the Splendido here, courtesy of our friends at Seattle Seafaring. This is the ultimate Seattle experience. You should come take a part of it. In fact, these waters are teeming with salmon right now. We're going to send you off here with a look at the very active salmon ladder. Thanks for making it the perfect evening.